Saka. Als alle foto's gemaakt zijn, gaan we verder met het programma. Dan wil ik de minister van Nederland, meneer Moes, en mevrouw Gumps, om even op te staan, om even de overdracht te doen van de voorzitterschap. Tapi di minister Gauke Moes e também senhora Melissa Gums, para se traspasso de presidência de Evilanden-overleg.
Ja, waar moet ik beginnen? Wat een prachtig bezoek heb ik gehad de afgelopen 2 dagen. En het is gelukkig nog niet helemaal voorbij. Ik mag nog een tijdje genieten van dit prachtige eiland. Ik ben diep onder de indruk van dit prachtige stuk van ons koninkrijk. We hebben zojuist het 4-landenoverleg afgerond. En daarbij hebben wij 12 slotconclusies gezamenlijk afgehamerd met de plastic hamer. Erg belangrijke conclusies om te werken gezamenlijk aan de doelen die, en de thema's die ons verenigen. Ik noem maar even 2, maar alle 12 zijn ze natuurlijk belangrijk. Als eerste C, Strategic Education Alliance, waarbij we samenwerken aan sterker onderwijs en beter onderwijs. En vanuit de grondwaarden en de overtuiging die we allemaal hebben dat waar je ook bent in ons koninkrijk en waar je wieg ook stond, als je het privilege hebt om in het koninkrijk der Nederlanden onderwijs te volgen, moet dat een garantie zijn voor de ontplooiing van je talenten en voor zo groot mogelijke kans op succes in je leven. Verder vind ik het ook mooi om te noemen, ik hoop dat ik het goed zeg, Kibrahatcha. Het is een programma waarbij we werken aan meer onderwijzers en ook de kwaliteit van het onderwijs door een hele hoge kwaliteit van ons onderwijzend personeel te waarborgen. Ik vind dat een prachtig programma omdat goede docenten en genoeg docenten een absolute randvoorwaarde is voor kwalitatief hoogstaand onderwijs. En daarom ben ik daar ook erg trots op dat we dit continueren.
Thank you to my colleague ministers and to everyone who put in the very hard and tedious work to make this Vierlanden-overleg a reality and a possibility that we can sign these agreements moving forward. I've always spoken that collaboration and cooperation in the kingdom hinges on one thing, and that is communication. I think, as my colleague from Curaçao mentioned, the history that we share as islands and as the Netherlands in this kingdom, we've seen the relationship fluctuate, and I think when communication breaks down, that is when that happens. And for me, it's about keeping in touch with my colleagues at my level and all other levels for all those who have worked together to make this a reality. I think that's the most important thing, especially as we see certain history starting to repeat itself in the world. Our collaboration and communication is even more important now moving forward. So as the incoming chair, I would like to thank the outgoing chair for the work that has been put in to the Vierlanden-overleg and to these discussions. And I remain committed to making sure that we continue this dialogue, this cooperation, and this collaboration moving forward, in particular in this part of the kingdom with our partners, of course, across the Atlantic. So thank you again, and I look forward to the work continuing.
Mr. Chairman, to the members of Parliament, when examining prison education on St. Martin, written reports and research conducted by the Climb Foundation on the Point Blanche Prison and House of Detention, as well as the Miss Lally Center over the years, support the same complexities and challenges that our very own schools face in education in St. Martin. However, schools, through evaluations and research of systems, have been trying to mitigate these challenges for years based on data, and it remains still a significant challenge. It is through these lenses we need to acknowledge here today that inmates reach the prison gates, their challenges do not simply disappear. In fact, the complexities of addressing their needs become even more profound. So, Mr. Chairman, through you, to the honorable members of Parliament, the purpose of this meeting is to provide Parliament with data-driven insights on prison education on St. Martin, to support informed decision-making regarding educational programs in correctional institutions, to highlight systemic linkages between schools, their challenges, and prison education outcomes, and to fulfill our moral obligation as experts in education.
In order to fulfill the purpose of the presentation here today, this present discussion, we believe that it is important to let the members of Parliament and the public know who we are so that the authenticity and the relevance of the information shared can be more effectively evaluated. I will begin by describing our roles and experience in the education system. We both taught at all levels within the education system in St. Martin, from primary to secondary to university levels, from public schools to government-subsidized schools. And when the students could not find success within the system, we established a highly effective adult education program specifically designed to meet the needs of St. Martin students who wanted an accredited high school diploma, commonly but simplistically referred to as the GED, with our students going on to become teachers, airplane mechanics, airplane pilots, to work in places such as Silicon Valley, and as close as right here as members of Parliament. This we have been doing for over 25 years, and in addition, our experience within the education system extends not only as teachers, but also to leadership positions within St. Martin's education. So, in recognition of the importance of contextual factors in gaining a deep understanding of educational realities and outcomes, our experience within education has extended to teaching in other Caribbean islands, Panama, and as far as the United Arab Emirates. These experiences have allowed us to gain a comparative perspective and an appreciation for the uniqueness of St. Martin's educational experience. For most of the last 3 years, we have been providing education for inmates at the Point Blanche prison and for juveniles at the Miss Lally Center, actually conducting those classes ourselves as the teachers in the classroom. To complement our practical experience within the education system, we have extensive experience as educational researchers. We both have PhDs in creative leadership for innovation and change, with a special emphasis on educational leadership for change from the University of the Virgin Islands. This academic training allows us to use and explore principles of creativity, leadership, and change to identify and address educational, organizational, and systemic problems. We continue to conduct research, both independent and solicited, and continue to write and publish academic research within the educational space. These experiences and training have given us a deep understanding of the system, both as individuals within the system and as individuals who study the system. It has allowed us to recognize the importance of context in identifying and addressing the unique educational needs of inmates, we cannot fail them more than one time. Context, not as something that is placed on the periphery, but as central to successful rehabilitation. It is from this perspective that we conduct today's presentation.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah. Your social and health insurances.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com, SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, Com programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
St. Martin, as heavy rain falls across our region, we urge all residents and visitors to exercise caution and stay alert. Here are the areas prone to street flooding, flash floods, and/or rock slides. Avoid these locations until water levels subside. Atillage Road Roundabout, Cul-de-Sac. Arch Road, Sucker Garden. Beacon Hill Road, Simpson Bay. Atillage Road, Border Monument, Belvedere, Lower Princess Quarter. Billy Folly Road, Cole Bay. Emma Plain, Phillipsburg. L.B. Scott Road, Cul-de-Sac. Rhine Road, Lowlands. Welhalaken Road, Low K Roundabout, Cahill, Little Bay. Well Road, Wellington Road, and Orange Grove Road, Cole Bay. Yancho Rousquin Boulevard, Point Blanche, and Sakers Gut Road, Cul-de-Sac. Remember, safety comes first. Let's work together to keep our community safe. This public service announcement is brought to you by the Department of Communication.
I would like to highlight a case of an inmate at the House of Detention who received a court verdict in 2023 ordering his transfer to the Justitiële Inrichting Caribisch Nederland in Bonaire for necessary treatment. Despite repeated efforts to have the case prioritized, the minister failed to execute the verdict for more than 2 years. This delay violated the inmate's fundamental rights. The Ombudsman, therefore, urged the minister to take immediate action to comply with the court's decision in the interest of the individual's health, well-being, and legal rights. The Ombudsman is pleased to report that the inmate has now been transferred to Bonaire in accordance with the verdict. However, concern remains that it requires the Ombudsman intervention and an excessive delay to achieve compliance. Legal certainty is a core principle of good governance. It requires government to promptly comply with court decisions on its own initiative. Organizational or administrative issues cannot be used as an excuse for non-compliance. In 2024, No laws were submitted for review to the Constitutional Court. However, the court mourned the passing of its president in January 2024 after a period of illness. Judge Witt's contributions to the judiciary and his dedication to justice will be remembered as a guiding light for future generations. In the meantime, the composition of the members of the court remained unattended. As it stands, the position of the President of the Constitutional Court remains vacant and urgently requires an appointment pursuant to Article 128 of the Constitution of St. Martin, as well as a substitute member on recommendation of the Council of State and a court recorder pursuant to Article 15 of the National Ordinance Constitutional Court. Considering that the Ombudsman is tasked with presenting a law to the Constitutional Court, I have requested the Minister of Justice to address these matters as soon as possible to avoid any delay in procedures when required. With this, I end with the general part. And Madam Chair, I would like to pass over the mic to the legal advisor who will be giving more information on the complaint statistics.
And 42 cases proceeded to further investigation, which have or will lead to a report by the Ombudsman. So general complaints or information windows may involve providing information, referring complainants to the relevant institution, or mediating complaints. These general complaints do not lead to a formal report. The time that is spent on IWs, so that's what we call them, varies depending on the nature of the complaint. For example, the complaints regarding unlawful pop-up garages took months to resolve and ultimately led to the Ombudsman adopting an interministerial approach in an effort to get the ministries to discuss the challenges and solutions together. Of the 228 IW complaints, the majority concerned SZV, those were 15, the police department, 13, tax office and receivers, 13, and then the school boards, GB, and labor office, 12 each. These IWs gives a snapshot of the everyday questions, concerns, and challenges the public is having with our institutions. I now move over to the investigative reports, so those complaints that have led to further investigation by the Ombudsman, broken down per ministry. A total of 42 complaints warranted further investigation. 37 involved the ministries, while the semi-public entities totaled 5. Vromi and Justice with 9 complaints each. VSA, General Affairs and Education, Culture, Youth and Sports, and TIAT with 4 each, followed by Finance with 3. On a positive note, all investigations concerning the Ministries of Finance and TIAT were resolved at the intervention stage, that is at the early stage of the investigation. As for the semi-public entities, together they amounted 5 further investigations. These were St. Martin Housing Development Foundation with 2, APS, Port of St. Martin, and Cadastre, each with 1. I now move over to additional concerns to the ones the Ombudsman already addressed in her opening remarks. The Ombudsman wishes to highlight the following concerns, and this is for all ministries. The Ombudsman acknowledges that to a certain extent, the lack of progress in certain areas may be attributed to inherent systemic challenges such as limited capacity, financial constraints, and other operational realities. It is for this reason that the Ombudsman urges all government entities to review and adapt their policies and procedures to current realities. while ensuring alignment with the core objective of their respective government service. I will elucidate with an example based on an actual IW case of how the current medical and financial aid application process functions in practice. A person seeking financial or medical aid collects all the required supporting documents at home, completes the application form, and visits the Department of Social Affairs on, let's say, February 1st, 2025, to submit the application. Although the documents are in order, the individual is given an appointment 3 months later, on May 1st, 2025, to formally submit the application. Then, of course, the minister has to make a decision. Let's say the decision is rendered on the 15th of June, 2025. Once the decision is rendered, it is then given retroactivity to the 1st of May, 2025. So the person is ready to apply by the 1st of February, and the decision goes in back to on the 1st of May, 2 months later. What happens if this individual suffers a medical emergency on March 1st? This is an actual case where a senior citizen now has a substantial hospital bill while their AOV and financial aid can barely cover their current living expenses. While this process was reportedly adjusted to address staffing limitations and growing demand for social assistance, it nonetheless defeats the purpose of timely aid, especially for those in urgent need.
Social and health insurance is your social and health insurances.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXV, yeah, your social and health insurances.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com. SXM Daily News.
As it pertains to the question regarding the calculations of the mentioned in the recent article by the ECSM, I would like to state, Madam Chair Lady, that the ECSM is also forms a part of the board, but that is not an opinion of the SER. That is the opinion or the statements made by ECSM regarding that specific topic. I would like to also add, as it pertains to the question as it pertains to the Department of Statistics and Data, I have to indicate that the SER has a good working relationship with the Department of Statistics and also the central bank as it pertains to information and data that is required most of the time for our advice process. Now, Madam Chair, I would like to give the floor, if you permit me, Madam Chair, to Mr. Richardson, the SG.
With the questions from MP Irion and also yourself, Madam Chair Lady. The question from MP Irion, the current state of finances with regards to the SER. Before I continue, thank you for the compliment with regards to our website. We do our best to make sure that the people of St. Martin has access and can review the advices. A few years ago, we started with animation videos explaining the advices. Some of the advices are very complex. the SER cannot publish certain advices without the permission of the Prime Minister based on Article 10 of the Openbaarmaking, the Landsverordening Openbaarmaking, sorry, let me say the right thing. Openbaarmaking van adviezen van de Raad van Advies en de SER, Article 10, paragraph 4, that responsibility falls under the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister has 6 weeks to review the advices of the SER and based on his findings, give his comments, written comments, that there are no objections with regards to any financial matters or national security matters, and then the advice can be published. With regards to the financials of 2024, for a long period of time, the board was inactive, so the funds were not used. The board became active in August 2024, and then we started to make use, the board started to make use of the funds. For 2025, we're still within budget. I can say that from the high councils and the SER, when you look at all 4 of those institutions, the SER has the smallest budget. That's about 1.3 million or 1.2 million on a yearly average. So where that is concerned, and we're also, every year, we remain within budget, so we don't spend taxpayers' money. Overspend, pardon. We don't overspend the taxpayers' money. So we stay within the rules and we try to keep it we try to keep it respectable. Moving on with question number 4, capacity building, the current state of the staffing capacity of the SER. At the moment, we have 1 vacancy, a hoofdmedewerker, a policy worker. We just welcome Ms. Jamie Murion to the team as a strong asset. I believe experienced lady who has a wealth of experience, worked also in Parliament and for the Minister of VSA. So we're very proud to have her as part of the team. And I must also mention Ms. Richelieu Williams van der Mark, who's also part of the team, also very educated young lady, also works for the SER. So at the moment, we have 1 vacancy. We had that advertised from October 3rd to November 3rd, yesterday, so the vacancy closed. We have 8 applicants, and the Department of HR is currently reviewing those resumes and the motivational letters, and then once a date is set, we will continue with the selection.